my name is Dahlia, and I'm going to talk to you about my queer journey this year. I'm going to focus on this year because I already made a video talking about the other 19 years of my life. If you want to go watch that video, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to give a brief overview about that because it gives context to what I'm talking about for this year. But if you don't, that's fine too. So, when I was younger, I didn't really understand gender. I acted like a man because that's what I thought I was supposed to do, but then I realized I didn't have to do that because I wasn't happy doing it. So why do I have to? Everything I saw in media told me that I should. Um, just I had to be a man. If you've seen the Crash and Bernstein memes that have been happening recently,
Yo, I'm gonna let you finish, but ding dong!
ah, that show is one of many that put on a lot of expectations for gender and whatnot. I watched that show a lot, and I mean, it's an okay show, but I think stuff like that really hindered my journey becoming a queer person. My parents didn't, but the media I consumed definitely did. Um, so that's one reason why representation is important. I think if I saw trans people and non-binary people and other various queer people in media, I may have realized that that's the way I was feeling too. But I didn't have any of that, so it took me a long time. And honestly, I've kind of grieved not knowing, if that makes sense. The time I spent as a man feels like time that I've wasted. It feels like time that I could have spent being happy, and instead I spent it trying to fulfill some goal. It's really kind of difficult to think about that. I have other stuff to talk about in this video that's difficult to think about though. So I will move on. I've really gone into being feminine this year. Um, I think last year I had a they them pin on. This year I have a much larger they she pin on. I've changed all of my pronouns on social media to be she they, but I'm actually thinking that I'm more she her. Um, I haven't started medically transitioning yet. I think maybe when I do, then I'll feel more comfortable in being androgynous. But it's kind of like what Dylan Mulvaney talked about.
But I feel like last year I was very hyper feminine as a way to kind of like protect myself and shield myself. And don't get me wrong, like pink is my favorite color, but I was just afraid of masculinity in general. And I can look at this photo now and I don't feel any dysphoria because I know that it doesn't change my identity.
That's kind of what I'm feeling. It's really weird though because my aesthetic is absolutely not hyper feminine. I'm definitely more androgynous when it comes to my aesthetic. Think of people like Ruby Rose. Interestingly enough, she actually does consider herself gender fluid, so maybe there's something about that. Speaking of being gender fluid, I'm currently dating someone who's gender fluid, and that has not made me feel less like a lesbian because while some days she may want to be considered with more masculine terms and to be my boyfriend, I still love him. I dated someone who was more trans masculine for a bit. He was also androgynous to pronouns he, they, it, if I remember correctly. And we are no longer together, but he was technically in my first polycule. It still is because my current partner is still dating him and me at the same time. And I'm not going to get too deep into the details because I don't know how comfortable either of them are with me detailing our relationship, especially now that it's over. But what I will say is being in a polycule really helped me figure out that I am polyamorous. I do like multiple people. I have romantic and other feelings for multiple people at any given time. And I think it's good to accept that. But of course, that relationship, my relationship with that one person has ended, but I am still dating my lovely partner. I love them so much. I am super in love with them, and I tell them that all the time, and I think it's great. Um, One interesting thing to note, though, is, and this isn't super related to my queer journey, but I found it interesting that a lot of people who have autism, autistic people, they are oftentimes gender nonconforming. And I thought about that, and I feel that that correlation, while we shouldn't confuse it with causation, I think it says a lot about gender, and it says a lot about autism, and it says a lot about society. Because if autistic people don't understand basic societal rules and expectations that allistic people would think are completely normal, if autistic people don't understand that stuff, then why would they understand gender if gender is also a bunch of societal roles and expectations? Makes sense to me. For a while, I thought I was autistic. My therapist says that I have other stuff going on in my brain that's just very similar to autism. What does she know? She's just a doctor. Um, that's a joke. Trust your doctors. That's everything, as far as I know. Be sure to tune in next year when I make another video, just updating everyone on my queer journey. Um, yeah. Bye.